This is RadioFire.com. Yours truly, Diamond K, in here as always, coming at you from Radio on Fire, RadioOnFire.com, also the DiamondKShow.com. And there's a lot going on in the world, of course, wherever you are watching this or hearing this, so much going on, and we're going to get into a lot of it. Of course, that we talk politics every day because I believe that the world is, everything is connected to politics some kind of way. But of course, we talk about other things, and we talk to America through our digital news broadcasts, our social media content, and 350,000 viewers per month, viewers and listeners per month. We talk politics, breaking news, celebrity info, sports, pop culture, etc., etc. And I am pleased to be able to talk to someone running for city council in Baltimore's District Number 5, Maria Vismale. Thank you for joining us. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me, Diamond. I've been following you, and I definitely can say I'm doing pretty well. We came from an event earlier with the explosion. I know it's been some displaced people, so I was gracious enough to participate in that. So I'm excited today. Definitely glad to be here.
Wonderful, wonderful. I think that is as good a place to start as any. So, for people that don't know, on August the 10th, which is my birthday, by the way.
Oh, happy birthday, by the way.
Thank you, thank you. There was a terrible explosion in Baltimore, northwest Baltimore, and there was loss of life. Like you said, people misplaced. How did you find out about this tragedy, and what have you been doing in regards to it?
So I was actually coming from a meeting and my team started blowing up my phone. I am always on social media. I'm always, listening to the radio, but I literally had just stepped out of a meeting. And so my phone is blowing up. People are texting me. I'm receiving emails and I'm like, okay, this is just part of the campaign. I'm always busy. And so I jumped on social media and the very first thing before answering, a missed call, before actually looking at an email, I hop on social media, check, okay, what's going on? I follow the Baltimore Sun, I follow WBAL. And the first thing I saw is Northwest Baltimore, 4200 block Labyrinth. And I said, wait, I was in shock. I literally didn't start my car up yet. I just had hopped in. And at that point, I go then to my email and I give my manager a call and they're like, are you okay? And I said, yeah, I'm great. Did you just see what happened? That's like, that's what we're calling you about. And I immediately, the first thing I thought is I called as many stakeholders as I knew. And I said, the first thing that we have to do is we have to go there and give out donations. We have to go there and check on the people, see if they're okay. And it was just the most horrific just display. Everything was in shambles. You couldn't even get through because there were firefighters, there were, police officers, members of the community. And what
Yeah, it
happened
was
was,
terrible.
yeah, what happened was I actually, in talking to some stakeholders and community leaders, just, I think great minds think alike, we actually said, hey, let's meet as close as we can to the area so those affected can just pick up and go, whether it's bottles of water that we bought, whether it was clothing. I got a couple of pounds of food, they're non-perishables. And when I got there, the Red Cross was there, Central Kitchen, Casa de Maryland, other community volunteers. And I just immediately jumped in where I saw I could help. We were, organizing clothing, we were talking to folks. There were people giving out meals. So the community came together as a family, as a team. And then, more recently, as of today, a week go by, I am fully committed to being mentally and spiritually and physically grounded. So I actually helped organize and co-sponsor an event with Miracles and Beyond. And we left around 3:30 today. And we actually had, it was the most beautiful thing ever, a grief counselor, so a licensed therapist. We had a realtor to give advice. And then we also had the Miracle and Beyond CEO along with myself, giving out, toiletries, gift cards, while also having resources, because a lot of people don't understand trauma stays with you. And I believe in a holistic approach. I think sometimes we forget, yeah, you can give people resources, physical resources, whether that is, a hotel temporarily, or gift cards, or even toiletries. But the mental aspect, I know people were crying, devastated. The loss of the 20-year-old guy who is a Morgan State student. It's traumatic. And unless you deal with that on an emotional level as well, um, I think definitely you'll still be somewhat in disarray. So that's how we kind of handle it. We're still obviously taking donations. We're still, investigating the cause of it. And I'm
Yeah.
talking to people I know to kind of make sure as soon as I get that information, I can relay that to the community.
Yeah, I'm not going to go into it on this broadcast because you are running for office.
Yeah.
But with the explosion, BGE did an internal investigation, and
Hmm.
of course they have found themselves innocent of all wrongdoing. With the amount of old and decrepit pipes around this city, and um, the amount that need to be changed. Of course, they're going to say that they had nothing to do with this. This was something that happened inside of one of the homes, which is, you know, that's just crazy right there. But I'm not gonna go too deep in that. I have gone deep in that on other programs, but I don't want to put you in that situation. So, how did you get involved in running for office? This is not something that I recommend for the faint at heart.
Listen, it's been, I think, since a young age. My dad, he actually marched in the Million Man March. He
Mm-hmm.
named me Maria Mandela Vismale. My mom was a teacher. And at 10 years old, I am literally holding a picket sign, no, no, Amico, and standing in front of what is now the ShopRite on Liberty Heights, urging leaders, along with other community stakeholders like the Build, like, different nonprofits, saying we need a resource, which is a grocery store. We will not accept another corner store. We will not accept another gas station. And from there, I got my taste of civic engagement. I've always loved helping. My dad taught me you have to be kind and fair to all, but it's your voice that'll really change it. You're not, just any Joe Smo, you matter. And with that, helping others is the most important. So I spent my life, obviously paying attention to leaders, being in the community neighborhood associations. At 17, interestingly enough, I was a build liaison, Baltimoreans United in Leadership, and I spoke in front of city council where I urged leaders, and with the help of other liaisons, we got a grant for recreation centers when they wanted to build, a baby prison in so many ways.
Yeah.
And then more recently, I've dedicated my life to criminal justice reform. I am a huge proponent of, fairness and justice. And so I actually, recently, just after just focusing on the campaign for the last 4.5 years, was a defense investigator for the public defender of DC. And so I worked on over 300 plus cases, met with tons of families, worked with stakeholders, police officers, judges, and I saw the real need for people that want to represent and support the marginalized, because you'll find so many times, unfortunately, uh, after they say, hey, you're a bad seed, people don't want to touch you, people don't want to engage. And too many times than none, I still realize that the experiences that were left on me has afforded me the opportunity to continue in this mission. And I said, looking at my community, seeing the lagging schools, I grew up and I went to Grove Park Elementary. I went to Western High School, go Doves. And so I know what education means. I was lucky enough to graduate from Lincoln University, first HBCU. Don't let Cheney tell you otherwise. But I had the opportunity to go to Prague. I had the opportunity to be in a debate club, and that afforded me, you know, so many things that made me the woman I am today. So knowing all these things, knowing about criminal justice reform, knowing about how important education is, knowing that I am easily able and readily able to communicate with stakeholders, I just took a look at what was going on. Baltimore City District 5 is so disenfranchised. We are the pinnacle. A lot of people say, "Oh, you're going into the city." No, no, no. But you come to District 5 and you see there's still homeowners and family members that really want to obviously stay in the city, but they're having trouble. And I'm looking to rebuild. I'm looking to, more importantly, unify just as much as one area or demographic is taken care of. As a Black woman, I know that the entire district should be catered to. And that's my real mission in running, to support everyone and really bring those opportunities that I had growing up and that I rely on so heavily in my career.
So you are Western class of '07. So you are officially
Yes.
a millennial, right? Uh,
I like that term, but I'm not tech savvy. So, sometimes they try to pull my card.
uh, so what does the 100th anniversary of women's suffrage mean to you?
It's tremendous. I actually can't even believe that at one time women could not vote. It's so just mind blowing. As many contributions as we have seen from so many different female advocates, I'm just honored because now I have the ability to use my voice and my platform to continue the mission of so many women that stood in lines, that pushed back against the status quo. It's an honor to say, during the 100 suffrage, I am a Black woman who is actually running and able not only to run but to vote and practice, which so many of long ago people couldn't do. So it's tremendous.
Yes,
I
yes.
absolutely love it.
So if elected, you would be the first black female to hold this seat in District 5, if I'm
Correction,
correct.
correction, correction, correction. First Black person ever. So person,
Oh,
both
first
female
black,
and
excuse me.
person.
Yes. Okay.
Yes,
First black
yes,
person. Okay.
yes,
All
yes.
right. So where did you grow up? What
I
area?
grew up in Grove Park neighborhood. It's
Okay.
right there, Rogers near Wabash behind me. There is Pimlico to the left of me.
Mm-hmm.
And so just right in the middle, my neighbors have been there 30 plus years. And so it was the best. I went to Grove Park Elementary School, and I just want to keep Grove Park the pinnacle of the city, as I said. It's just such an eclectic, diverse,
It is
happening.
that is very
Pimlico,
very diverse.
yeah,
Very
Pimlico
diverse.
is the area. We have so many different demographics, socioeconomic class. You have Roland Park, North Roland Park. You have Mount Washington. Then you have where I live, Grove Park. You have Seton Hall. Then you have Falstaff, and it's just Cheswold. It's just an array of people coming together. But that's where it's my job to win and be the next councilwoman, because we all have needs and they all should be met collectively. And so I am a resource, I am an advocate, and I'm a voice. And where one person, may not feel they have to or want to obviously speak up for the everyman, I've been doing this all my life and I will continue to do it because it's my time now to show I'm here and I'm ready for the job.
All right. So speaking of the job, how difficult has it been campaigning during a pandemic?
Whew, man, do you want to join the team? It's just honestly, it's good, and it also has its challenges. I don't want to say I haven't been out there, but I've been taking the necessary precautions. You always have hand sanitizer. You're always wearing masks.
Mm-hmm.
Some people will gladly, hey, come and sit down. I haven't seen people, I want to talk with you. Others, leave your literature, leave your flyer at the door. A guy yelled from his window once and said, no, thank you. But I actually in campaigning so far have found, as a first time candidate, that is a multifaceted, very exhilarating experience. One day, taking calls, doing meetings on Zooms. The next day, I'm talking to voters on the phone while In the evening, I'm going to events, or I'm, out there canvassing. So it's definitely a job for somebody that is got a lot of energy, somebody that wants to be, as myself, with the people, talking to the people. But it has, both good sides and bad sides. Because I'm not going to say, I wouldn't like to do more events and wouldn't like to be, with as many as I can voters. But with that said, the challenges we just kind of navigate and we adjust. It's going to be a new normal for a while, but in knowing that, we kind of tailored, excuse me, our campaign to fit what's going on.
Absolutely. And so, with that being said, the economic impact of this pandemic has been severe, especially to the communities that we grew up in. Um, you feel that transparency has been lacking in the incumbent of the seat that you're running for?
So it's two things that I feel with the incumbent or the opponent, my opponent. Uh, I don't know him personally. I'm sure he's a fantastic guy. You know, to all candidates running, I understand we're all running for the same position. However, I will say there is a lack of accountability and there is a lack of transparency. I've been paying attention to, uh, for the last, I guess, 10 years, me being able to really participate in the political process, seeing that, it was a long-standing council person. This particular guy came in 4 years ago, new guy, and I think that's what democracy is. You have 4 years, you get elected to show what you're going to do, and if I can't account for actual things being done to support people that look like me, to support people, on the other side of where you live, to support people that don't have the same social economic status as you, I start to question, your role. And then pushing back and seeing certain, articles, I'm an advocate for reform, criminal justice reform. I talked to you about that. And so just seeing stories on how, different things played out regarding some incidents that I saw, they were disheartening. And so I'm really coming in here saying, look, if we can't account for this, if you can show me that you've done something terrific, but I looked at the numbers, I looked at the data, I looked at the record, and there's really been nothing there that I can say wholeheartedly I've benefited or I saw an impact for those that look like me, those that are different from me, those that are different, and don't live in this one area. So, accountability and transparency, I would say, um, I think there's a real need for change, and that's why, as a first time candidate, understanding being a resident for so long, I know with my specific experience and my really intentional platform to unify, to assist the lagging schools, because I come from a family of teachers. There's a real problem when people are math and reading deficient and nobody is taking accountability. There's a real problem when we are receiving funds for economic development, but that money never gets allocated. And honestly, that's very simple to a very, very simple fix. It's called accountability. It's called audit. My mission, first 2 days, 3 days, first week in office, is to spearhead an oversight committee. If we're receiving funds, if we want to properly allocate to the people in need, we have to have some type of audit and oversight. And I think people don't want to have that conversation because it's hard sometimes, but I'm not afraid to, and I'm not afraid to question and continuously question until I get answers, which I haven't been able to find.
Yeah. So you are a conservative, true?
I am a GOP Republican. I believe that, don't trust the government. I want to limit it in their role, and I want to more so focus on, my family, education, and the things that impact, myself and others in need. So I would call myself a, GOP Republican woman that is just looking to be the new Republican for Change.
Okay, GOP is the grand old party, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And so I talk to people. I talk to independents. I talk to Democrats. I talk to Republicans, and anyone coming from the Republican side usually says what you're saying as far as money allocation has
Hmm.
not been spent correctly. Do you have an example of a place that is run primarily by Republicans where money is spent right? And I mean, because what I see is we have Democrats and Republicans who screw up,
No, I agree.
misappropriate funds, who criminal activity, lining their pockets, et cetera, et cetera. And I don't think that this is a Democrat or Republican thing. I know Republican crooks. I know Democratic crooks. And I think that this platform design, this talking point, that it's the Democrat way of doing things that misappropriates funds, I think is misguided.
No, I wanna clarify. I don't think I said it's the Democratic
You did
way of
not. You
doing
did
things.
not.
I want to say that in seeing that my community has received grant monies and seeing that the schools have poor infrastructure and have been closing, I don't know if this guy specifically for District 5. Granted, he is a Democrat, so I don't conflate the two. But what
Yeah.
I am saying is my role for District 5, if elected for councilwoman, would be to say, look, I know that we have opportunities to receive monies, and it's our job to say, okay, these people are in need, and these people, after we give them those funds, after we allocate that money, we audit. Because in 2 years, if we're seeing that this money is wasted, I'm specifically thinking about anything south of Northern Parkway. We've seen for years, money being distributed, but we can't account for it. So if we can hold people accountable, if we can say Republican, Democrat, Independent, or no affiliation, whoever's in office as leadership has to say, my district is no longer going to allow those who are stakeholders to go ahead and take money, contractor overturn. It's ridiculous in the city, specifically in my district. And so not only obviously looking at the need for obviously more oversight to craft somewhat of a plan where I spearhead you know a group where we audit, but there's another part to that. I think if you look at leadership right now, there is a one party system. Absolutely. If it worked, it worked, it worked. I'm all for. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Right now, we've seen specifically in District 5, because that's what I focus on, where I live, where I grow up, where I go to church, where I move. We've seen an uptick in crime. We've seen that people are, unfortunately, where I told you, I have neighbors that have been here for a while, but I also have families that move in that say, look, the schools are closing, there's vandalism, we can't stay here. We're going to move out to Annapolis. We're going to move out to Baltimore County. It's ridiculous that my kid has to, take a bus across town. And so what that means to me is, okay, what has the leadership done to prevent these things? And again, one party system, if they work, great. I don't look at people dependent on it. I don't want people to look at me dependent on party. I want to look at your tenure. What have you done for me? What can I point to say this impacted my community? And so you look at the raising taxes. My family living there, we see that, look, the property tax is high. Okay, maybe we can't curb the property tax. Maybe we can affect, something else to alleviate this, problem. We see that the water bill is high. We see that the small businesses are leaving because they can't compete. And so holistically, looking at every single side of it, education, looking at the crime, looking at, you know, as I just said, auditing and having oversight for resources where we can look to put these, obviously funds. Then that's where I come in as a person that says, I don't care, again, Republican, Democrat, or Independent, I'm the better candidate. And yes, I do obviously, have specific ideas and values, but that doesn't negate the fact that I know that human issue is education, human issue is crime, human issue is literally boosting the economy. That I think overall the Democrats and the Republicans and the Independents can say that that's something that we need to fix. You had
Definitely.
your time, and now it's time for somebody new to take that and spearhead, a change.
How welcome would you be if elected to working across the aisle? You would definitely need some cooperation, some bipartisan cooperation.
So growing up, that is probably what I think is best preparing me for this role. Growing up, my dad was a Democrat and my mom, was a Republican, a GOP woman. And so from an early on, I just knew, certain things we can disagree on, but certain things are human issues that we can agree on. And so I know wholeheartedly, I have colleagues, I have friends, some people that I talk to every day as mentors. They are Democrats. A lot of them being in my family, a lot of them, being in the school system. So I know it's not even an issue. It's a conversation on let's get to work immediately. I know Baltimore is hurting. I know if elected, can be the person that obviously my district told me to be. And as a person that is completely transparent, I will make it my mission to show the community I've done my job. And here's a literally outline platform on what I'm going to do, and hold me accountable. Call me up. Make me I am available. You can directly get to me. People know me. So I'm very, very excited to, hopefully get in there and make it a conversation where we can stop playing partisanship, because nothing gets done. And in one party system, unfortunately, sometimes there isn't that kind of pushback or that accountability. And I want to say, look, again, I'm a new Republican. Forget about what they told you. Grand old party is what they, say, that was the historic um, kind of branding of us. But you can call me a GOP woman, you can call me a new Republican, because this girl understands what it means to be an advocate for the underdog, to be an advocate that unifies. Criminal justice is my background. Being a community team player is my background.
Absolutely. And a lot of things that you're saying definitely point to something new with regards to the Republican Party. Very interesting uh, with regards to that. How can people get in touch with you and help your campaign and support what you're doing?
So we are on every social media platform. We're on YouTube. We are on Instagram, Facebook. Getting into LinkedIn now, just because I'm trying to cover everything.
Absolutely.
But the easiest way is my website, votevismale.com. That's vote and then my last name, V as in Victor, Ismale. It's Dutch. My ancestors came over here. So I'm a black, diverse woman. And I just know that, again, being a face to this new system where we expect and hold people accountable is what I stand for. So I definitely, am asking people listening in the district to vote for me November 3rd.
And if elected, you said that the first thing that's on your agenda is what?
So I want to get in there and start kind of seeing where all our resources and money is going. I
Mm-hmm.
want to, secondly, just obviously make sure the district is unified and offer the same resources that I see in a specific area to the entire community. Policing, community policing being one of those things, marshaling and having the support of individual contracted groups that come from the community. So we know that this particular gentleman isn't just somebody that I don't know that just joined the force. He comes from the community. He understands. He can respond accordingly. Because I was there when, the George Floyd thing happened, and I wrote immediate press release where I saw, we are affected, and the trauma and the remnants of that will cause this disdain. But I want to make sure that I support, obviously, all the stakeholders, the community leaders, the residents, and obviously to police, so we can feel safe and really combat, bad actors.
And you have bad actors out there. There's a lot. There's much work to do, and I wish you best of luck on your campaign and everything. Um, would you be willing to have a debate with your opponent?
Absolutely. I absolutely would love that. I think that that is the only way that people get a feel for who I am and know the facts. There is a need right now for political discourse, and I would absolutely love to have him and I virtually. I know we probably couldn't do it in person, but
Right.
to just talk about the issues and give the real solutions on how we would be the proper choice.
Wonderful, wonderful. So we'll definitely see if he is open to something like that. Definitely, I appreciate you talking with me and talking with our listeners about the very important work that needs to be done in Baltimore and especially in District 5.
Thank you so much. I do appreciate you.
Thank you.
Really glad to be here.
Absolutely. Thank you
All
again.
right. Take care.
Bye bye. Okay, everyone, that was our interview for today. Of course, you can advertise, connect your message with our engaged audience here on Radio on Fire. 350,000 listeners and viewers per month. RadioOnFire.com/advertise is where you go. And if you want to support the program via Cash App, you can do that as well. $ DJ Diamond K. Follow the Diamond K Show on Spotify or your favorite podcast network. New shows drop daily on RadioOnFire.com and TheDiamondKShow.com. Of course, your donations help us continue to do what we do here on The Diamond K Show, and that's to bring you independent news, progressive opinion on politics, social issues, entertainment, and so much more. For booking or media requests, djdiamondk@gmail.com. Until next time, if you see it, then you can be it. It is all about having vision. Shemaine Diamond K, and I will see you guys later on today after the Democratic DNC convention.